Okay, everybody, welcome to the regular council meeting for the city of Cross Lake. Monday, June 10th, 7 p.m. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first business is approving some additions to the agenda. We've got some additional bills for approval. Draft month-end revenue, May of 2024. Draft month-end expenditure, May 24. Draft balance sheet, May 24. We got to approve an application for the display of the fireworks for the 4th of July celebration. Discuss options for hiring city administrator. And that's it. We need a motion to approve.
I move to approve the additions to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor. Next, we have public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issue will be placed on the agenda of the next regular council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. Does anybody? Come on up. Come on up.
Jeff Benson, 11622 Manhattan Point Boulevard, Cross Lake. On December 11th of last year, I appeared before the council to request a vacation of the right-of-way. You denied that request, but you authorized a conditional user agreement. Well, it was the last meeting of the year, and apparently it got dropped because you changed attorneys. The new attorney doesn't seem to know anything about it. Cheryl's tried a couple times to get something to happen, so if you'd notify the attorney that he should draft the user agreement, that would be nice.
Okay. Did you guys get that? Okay,
Thank you.
good. Sorry about that
No
drop
problem.
ball.
I was gone, it just kept getting dropped, so, thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right,
we
come on up.
appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Jack Hale. I'm at 12266 Ivy Lane. And my wife and I bought a cabin there on Ivy Lane back in 1987, raised 5 children, so we're a seasonal resident. And I've been working since last summer with some of the neighbors on the South Bay, and I think I sent Mr. Nevin a petition, which maybe you distributed, I'm not sure, but I have copies if anybody would like it. But we have 60 signatures on it right now, and we've been working with WAPOA and the DNR. And this petition is going to the Crow Wing County Board. John Lubke is the person I'm working with on the board. And we're starting to push back on all the boats that are parked at the sandbar there. Last year, we had up to 160, 70 boats, sometimes on 4th of July. This last Saturday, a couple days ago, we had 25 boats at the island. And so the problem that it's creating is water quality issue, noise issue, environment issue, I've got 60 signatures so far from 100 properties around the South Bay, and we want to limit, the petition is to limit the number of boats that are parked there at any one time.
What did John have to say, Jack? when you
He is
approached
very
him?
supportive of it. The big question is, how can you enforce it? What can you do about it? And so I've had calls into about 4 or 5 people in the DNR, the enforcement area. We used to have the National Loon Center involved in it, but we were trying to rebuild the island. 30 years ago, it was an island, had shrubs on it, had a loon's nest, and then the island gradually dissipated. And when Denny Hecker built his house down there, everybody went down there to see it, and they discovered the sandbar. And they said, oh, let's have a big party here. And so it's been, every year it gets worse and worse and worse. And so a lot of us down there are really passionate and just want it, we want to
Quiet things down.
Quiet things down.
Yep.
And we don't know exactly the best way to do it, but what I'm asking the city council to do is to just be aware of it. If there's anything that you can do to help all of us down in the South Bay, I know it's maybe not your jurisdiction or whatever, but if you know people, if there's anything that you can do to help us to limit it, we would really all appreciate it down there in the South Bay. And so I'm planning to go to the Crow Wing County Board meeting on June 25th at 9 a.m. I get 3 minutes. And I'm going to present, I got all the petitions here, all the signatures. I'm hoping to have close to 100 by the time I go there in a couple of weeks. And see if we can get some action. And
Is that at 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock. It's a collaborative effort. I don't have the solution to it. I would like to dredge it and recreate the island, put a loon's nest on it again, and put some shrubs on it and some boulders around it to keep it from eroding again. But I can't get the DNR to, I can't get the Army Corps of Engineers to move on that. So, are there any questions that you might have?
No, I mean, you realize we can't,
Yep.
we can write a letter of support, or we could
Right.
do that.
Well, I'd appreciate that.
I will try to go down to the commission meeting with
Yeah.
you and talk to John. I'll talk to John, but, you know, we've talked, this isn't new.
Yeah. If there's anybody that would like to sign our petition, I'll take signatures. So, and I've got a bunch of copies. Would anybody like a copy?
I would like a copy, please.
You didn't get a copy?
No.
Oh. Well, I got one. I thought
Thank
I'd
you.
give it to everybody.
My name and phone number's on there. Anybody else like it?
I'll take a copy,
Might as well take a look.
Well, it's been that way a long time, so.
but not, I've never seen it this bad.
Thank you.
They've done is
There's a picture on there from the actual item. Anybody else want one?
Jack, I feel for you.
Well, I'm concerned about the water quality, I mean,
Yeah.
no, that's,
Terrible. Anybody else?
Are there any wakeboard boats down there ever?
No, Dave. They're all oars.
With their music playing?
Are there any other questions? Okay.
When was the county commission meeting?
It's June 25th.
Thank you.
9 o'clock, and I'll be there, and I've invited some of our neighbors to come to that also. But just to give you some feel, you know, like, here's one page of about 8 to 10 signatures, and we've got about 60 so far. Thank you very
Yeah,
much for
get
your
as many
time.
as you can get. That
Yep.
will show.
Okay, and feel free to call me if you have any ideas or would like to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Anybody else?
One of my neighbors is here, Ken Smith.
Yeah. Okay, nobody's moving. We'll close the public forum. Next is the consent calendar. All items here are listed, considered to be routine by the city council, will be acted on one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a citizen or council member so requests. Does anybody have anything?
We pull the financial statements, 9, 10, 11.
9 and 10 you want to pull out?
9, 10, 11.
Okay. Any others? Maybe we should just talk, should we talk about those first before we motion it? What do you want to do with them?
Well, I just want an explanation. Draft, does that mean that they're current, or is there errors on it, or what's the scoop on the financial statements? Or don't we have any?
I think so. Yeah, Dave,
No.
I'd like to pull C8 also.
C8.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, who, probably Shar or Jerry, anybody have anything to say about it or no?
They're draft statements.
trying to rectify that. Therefore, this is a draft statement only.
Why is Banyan involved in it? There's software programmers, are they trying to tell you how to do it?
Telling us versus what we think is on the books.
But we did have a starting point with the audit, the 2023 audit, right? So I'm not quite understanding, and it's June, and I'm just thinking we should have our financial statements in front of us. As a matter of fact, they weren't even in the packet to start out with.
We need to do some investigation in order to get to where the difference is, in order to make them official statements.
Okay, so,
We're trying the best we can.
okay. So so I would like to see if we couldn't get it done before we start budgeting for 2025. That usually starts in,
As I told you that last week, we were going to make this a priority.
mhm.
And so we're trying to make this a priority, therefore we gave you that one.
So is Abdo helping you with this anymore? I see on the list of bills, it's $29,000. We should have,
At this point, they're not. We could get them in to do that.
I think they should have given you the closing entries, and you should have been to move forward on that. But if that's not what's happening, I don't want to spend any more on Abdo, because $29,000, we should have gotten it already.
I have the same problem. I don't want to spend any more on something.
That was more than what the council expected. I guess that's it
Okay.
for me.
Posted and try to get it done. Aaron, you had something on 8?
Yeah, I did. Marcia's already somewhat addressed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was asking about the Abdu bill, 29,000. I'm assuming that that's for the conclusion of for the audit, getting everything concluded.
For the preparation, all the work they did in preparation of the audit, and getting us to the audit, finalizing last year's entries.
Okay.
They did approximately 150 hours of work.
Oh,
We have an itemized statement.
yeah.
It's higher than what we anticipated. But that's the statement. What was their estimate, Jerry? 20. 20? Yeah. I came in at 29.
I think we were told between 15 and 20 would take care of it.
Well, we still have to pay the bill, so don't have an option. Did we reach a conclusion on 10 and 12 or 9 and
Yeah, I mean, they're working on it. They're trying to get it.
Then I move that all the consent agenda be approved as submitted.
Okay, my second.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor. Next, we got the mayor and council members' report, and first up, Mr. Bray. Haven't seen you for a while.
It's been so long.
You got nothing but good news for us, I'm
Oh,
sure?
absolutely, great news.
All right.
Great news. TJ, I'll show you, put something up there. Mr. Mayor and council members, thank you for having me tonight. Today I'm happy to report that we had the bid opening for the project that we've been working on for several years. After many months of federal review and things like that, we actually opened bids 2 weeks ago, and then had a special county board meeting last Tuesday to award the bid to the low bidder, R.L. Larson Excavating, for about 3.5% less than the engineer's estimate. One thing that you'll notice is that it was very competitive. They're
Boy,
very
really?
packed together. There was 4 bidders, and they're all within 2% of the engineer's estimate. So we're very happy about that competitiveness. R.L. Larson does not work with the county very much, but they do work with the city of Baxter. They're a very reputable company out of the St. Cloud area. They use a lot of the same subcontractors that we're all familiar with. Anderson Brothers apparently is going to do the paving and some of the concrete work. Knife Lake, if you've heard of them, they do a lot of our concrete work. So although Prime contractor's name's a little bit new, that subcontractors will be all, for the most part, be familiar with you, for you. So, so it was 3.67% under the engineer's estimate. That's about $160,000. Now, that's overall. Some of the bid items were high, some were lower than we expected, but it netted out to be 160,000 under. I'm working on how that affects the line items that affect the county and the city. So there's some that are shared and will likely take the same equal benefit from the lower bids, but others were higher that might have been solely a line item for the city. And so I'm working that out. I expect you're well within the budget that you set. At one of the last meetings, the cost share agreement, I believe that you agreed at $695,000 and some change. I believe it'll be under that. Of course, construction, there could be stuff that happens during construction that might increase that, but I feel confident with that much wiggle room in the contract between the engineer's estimate and the estimate that gave you in the awarded bid that will be under that.
We had a lot of discussion, Tim, about getting along in the playground. Does R.L. Larson seem like they're gonna be able to work with us as far as detours and keeping the road open and?
Well, we have the plan is very lengthy and very detailed about that. So the detour, the phases are set, they bid it that way, the incentives are structured that way. We're not gonna be moving those around. It wouldn't be fair to
Right,
the other bidders if we start moving that around a
Primarily,
lot.
phase two is the big concern.
Phase two.
Yeah.
We are planning a pre-construction meeting. We're already in discussions with them. They're already ordering materials and things like that. So we're already talking to them. I have not talked to them yet, or project manager Steve Strohstein has. We plan to have a pre-construction meeting where we'll talk about that. I think it's very dynamic. What we found out with the sewer project, we had a plan, right? But then the plan, as people started to use it and things like that, and the time and the delays, we had to react to how people were using it and modify the detour stuff. I would expect that here too, is that we might have to shuffle things around because we're not quite sure how the people will use it. We have the phasing plan, but how they will actually find their way to these businesses. So,
Do we have an estimated start date?
yes, that was my next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, naturally, phase one will start July 8th, so we are able, I think everything kind of happens for a reason. There's a lot of people asking for, really trying to avoid the majority of the holidays in the Cross Lake area. And some of the delays to get the project approved through the federal government and stuff like that have got us to the point where July 8th will be the start date. It's actually, we have all the federal clearances now, but we've said that it's going to start after July 4th. And to start now for a couple of weeks and then move into is not an option. So July 8th will be the start date. The $40,000 incentive for phase one, which includes the roundabout and up to Swan Drive and to the bridge, is expected to be done before Labor Day. To get the $40,000 incentive for phase one, they must be done before Labor Day. Another thing that we built into the contract was a $2,500 a day disincentive. It's the maximum we can in place on them. So we have an incentive and a disincentive. So that should all equal an incentive to get it done in time. And they have the capability and the manpower to get that done. So we're confident that they'll get that done. Then we're not going to start phase two until after Labor Day. So we're going to avoid another holiday. So they're required before they start to tear up phase two, which is from Swan Drive North up to Bald Eagle Trail. They have to have phase one done. So there'll be a period where the roundabout and all that's open, and so will phase two up till Bald Eagle Trail, and then they'll start after Labor Day. And again, that's a lot of people were talking about that, avoiding all the holidays and kind of focusing more, particularly in that phase two area, after Labor Day. So by circumstance, it can happen that way. And, but we intend it to be building right now, but it's going to turn out just fine.
Do they have a projected finish date?
Projected finish date is mid-October. And I forget the date, maybe the 17th, that's to get the $60,000 incentive. So we still have a $100,000 incentive on the project, 40 for the first phase and 60 for the second phase. And that's the phasing part.
So you're gonna have your construction meetings. Can I
We,
publicly be bold enough to request that I be notified of them, and can I come and keep an ear on them?
absolutely.
And also, will the Cross Lakers be involved or some other community?
Well, we do a community, a lot of times business meeting, community business meeting. We'll talk about that at the pre-con. It's pretty common in a urban, project like this to have weekly construction meetings to talk about some of those changes we might need to do with the detour and other traffic control. So I would expect that to happen. We don't have a schedule for that yet, but that's something that we can set up. We're also planning, just gonna give another plug to the updates, the text messages updates, the QR code that we were distributing. I got like a couple, I get one just about every day on another project, so I know they work. And I would encourage people to sign up for those so they can stay informed, the general residents and even business owners, so. There's some flyers around town, I think, still, that they can catch the QR code. We'll put it on our social media page at Crow Wing County, and I think TJ has it on your website. The two websites are now linked with the phasing plan that we have, so.
Well, we are all very optimistic that this is gonna go smoothly.
Well, and Tim, maybe you've already planned for this, but, coordinating things like putting the sign up, just coordinating the construction with, the additions that we want to do. How is that going to be implemented or?
Well, I mean, the contractor owns the site. Anybody that's in construction will tell you that once we bid this to the contractor, they have control of the site. So we can't have another subcontractor running out there and putting in a sign because, just on their own without some coordination, because there's plantings to do.
Right.
I don't know whether it's a good idea, the plantings first, or the sign first, or the electric first, or the plumbing first. We just need to coordinate. And so I know that there's a lot of extras and things that people are interested in, but you have to be respectful of the contractor who has the site. He's responsible for the safety of his people on that site, and we just need to coordinate. There's plenty of, I'm always available, and my project manager will be available and visible here. And actually at the next council meeting, I'm hoping to have our project manager, Steve Stroshine, and the contractor here to introduce themselves and start that communication with you. So
We can maybe implement some kind of a, I don't know, like some kind of a, I don't know, a phone tree or something so that people who, can coordinate. I mean, I know they need to be coordinated, but how are we going to do that?
Well, you can just reach out or come to this weekly meetings. I think you've done, for example, the sign in the roundabout. You've leaned ahead a little bit and ordered the sign. So as long as at least it's waiting for when the contractor is ready for it. It might be fall. Because some of the plantings that are in the plan for the center of the roundabout and then the kind of rain garden areas over by Andy's, there's an ideal time to plant these, and they're responsible for the success of these plants. So
Right.
we want to let them do that timing because they somewhat warranty those for a short period of time. So just be patient. I mean, there's a lot of things that I know everything, feel like you want to get done. I think there's going to be some talk about some bench pads and some benches and stuff like that. Remember, this is going to be done in October. Nobody's going to sit on the bench until next spring. And so to not be able to coordinate, if it doesn't make sense this fall and summer, that there is still time. There is value, I think, in finding how people want it, and you get to see what it looks like and get that bench in the right place. We're speculating right now, so I just encourage you to be patient, and maybe some of the things can go in the spring after we see exactly what we got. Any other questions?
Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep.
Cross Lakers, Pat, you gonna do this?
Pat Netco, 36084 County Road 66, Cross Lake. First of all, I want to thank Phil and Tim for listening to all of our questions that the Cross Lakers have come up with at our monthly meetings. Phil was gracious enough to come and meet with 5 of us who were on the kind of a connectivity group regarding the road construction project. So we met with 5 of us, and we got a lot of our questions answered there. He pre-answered a lot of them. I gave you a handout, and I'm going to just go over a few of those right now. So the welcome sign, Tim mentioned that it has been ordered. You haven't approved that yet, so it's not been ordered. We just need to figure out if you want that sign and if it needs to be ordered, and direction for Josh if we're going to have that sign. I'm willing to take that on with contacting Josh, and then he will require at least half down to start the sign. And the sign can be ready by Labor Day, so it would give him time to get it done. And then whenever the coordination with planting that sign would have to happen with the contractor, and
So, Pat,
whenever that
let's-
is.
Let's touch on that for a second. As we go through this, we need to have a spreadsheet or something. We've got funds in there for some improvements that the city's gonna want. That's included in the bid, and then there's gonna be some extra stuff we have to do. So the cost of the sign, somebody has gotta track that so we know where we're at throughout the whole process.
Well, I gave that to you last month, the sign, in 2 different ways. One of them is for $1,530 for just the sign. The other one is for $2,130 with Upland Advertising installing the sign. So you would have to decide which you want. If you want him to install the sign at the contractor's discretion of when that would be, which would seem to make sense. but-
I don't mean to drag you guys in, but would the contractor rather install it so they can coordinate? No? Okay, okay. Well, I mean, they gotta control it, but,
To me, it makes sense to have the Josh, make the sign and install it.
we just gotta be really sensitive to coordinating this with the contractor, and Tim and Phil and whoever is
Absolutely, that's why
involved.
we're trying to be a little proactive, so that some of this stuff can maybe go to the pre-construction meeting, so that we don't get to the end of the roundabout time and they don't know what the sign is and what's supposed to go on. So
Okay.
this stuff needs to be brought forward at the pre-construction meeting, so that we have full communication and everybody's on the same page. Tim and Phil and the contractor and the city and everybody.
So we've got this price here, and now I think I saw someplace in here you're doing it times 3. We're gonna do 3 signs, so they're all the same?
No, one sign in the roundabout.
In the roundabout, but
There's
the
already one sign out on County Road 16. This same sign is out on County Road 16, and this same sign is out on 3 toward 50 Lakes.
Oh, okay.
The exact same signs are there. This matches that sign. There's one
Okay.
sign.
Okay,
The 2 different prices.
One is
One's
for
installed.
I
installation.
would rather approve it, install, and that way, if the contractor wants to do it, we let the contractor do it. But otherwise, he gets to do it, and it's just part of the program.
so, let's just dig this a little bit. So we've got funds in there for some improvements. Does the city write a check for the sign and we work it out later? She said she wants half down.
The sign is not in anything that you contracted with the county nor in any cost share.
So the city just writes a check for it, and we've got some money for it, okay. Okay,
And Josh, he can just bill the city directly.
okay.
I don't want to be part of that.
So do you want to make a motion, Aaron, that you want to approve that?
Yes.
Installed price?
We approve the painting and design and making of the sign and installation, which I believe is the $22,130.
21,000, yeah. I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, all in favor?
So to give me direction, do you want me to call Josh and get the ball rolling with that then?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
To
So then-
include- To include the bill to City Hall. Okay?
Okay. Yep. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you for contacting Josh and getting this underway.
And whenever it's determined, and whoever determines that, at the pre-construction meeting, maybe that needs to be determined so that so that there's a communication between them and Josh of when that's going to go in. So we want to make that connection happen, and I'm not sure how to do that.
Well, can
We'll
you,
let, we'll let that happen.
Get it ordered, and it'll be good chance to coordinate through the.
Okay, great, thank you. Next, we wanted to talk about the stormwater rain gardens and the landscaping in the middle of the roundabout. The Soil and Water Conservation District has a grant. What does this cover? And we want to make sure that the plant's in there because we've been told that the city pays as part of the aesthetic enhancement with the county contractor for the roundabout center and Andy's parking area. The grant pay for the stormwater rain garden, this is Phil's answer. This is Phil talking right now. So, the grant pay for the stormwater rain garden near the chamber via separate contract with the Soil and Water Conservation District recommended contractor. So, okay, the county pays for the stormwater basin across from the post office in a separate separate contract. So we're wondering who warranties the plants? Are the plants aesthetically pleasing? Because this is right at the entrance to Cross Lake, right before the roundabout. So we want to make sure that we're just not going to grow a bunch of weeds in this stormwater concept, that it is something that is neat and aesthetic.
I
So
think you guys have a list of what the plants are, right?
not for that, because that's a different deal.
Post office, not for that one?
The stormwater, no, the stormwater concept plan is a different, that's the city.
Oh, okay.
That's not the contractor and that's not the county, that's you guys.
So can we just leave that out? We'll plan them? Come on up here. How do we answer this?
Sorry, Phil.
No, no problem. Okay, so the roundabout and Andy's is aesthetic, it's plantings that we've shown you. And that is in the contract with R.L. Larson that the county bid. It's budgeted in there. It's attractive. I mean,
It looks
we've
like it is.
I think we submitted you what the plantings were.
Yeah.
So, I think under the contract, those plants have a 1-year warranty from the time they're installed and accepted. So let's just say that they get, like Tim is saying, the best time to plant them is not July and August, it's September, October. If they get accepted in late September, there's 1-year warranty where you get to see the plants, make sure they grow and everything. But what is probably missing from that, and what I think Pat's alluding to, is there should be some mechanism for someone to maintain those in years to come, year 2, year 3, year 4. The county is not going to maintain those. That's probably a budget item your city will want to take on.
Thank you, yes, that's what I was getting.
So the stormwater areas, which is a little rain garden by the corner where the flagpole is in the chamber building, that is a stormwater feature. And then the pond across from the post office, which sits full of water, is the county's pond. Those are grant eligible. Those are going to get special soils, and they're also going to get special plantings. Soil and water is part of their requirements to give the dollars to the city, the grant dollars, is they wanted some say in the plantings. They wanted us to use their preferred companies that they would deal with to get the plants and install the plants. These are different plants than the roundabout center and Andy's that are very aesthetic pleasing. These are still aesthetically pleasing, but they have a water quality aspect, so they're different types of plants. We included in the dollars that you have for that magic cost share is dollars for the planting and installing. They're just not going to be installed by R.L. Larson and the county in this contract. The county may still be overseeing what gets done, but we're going to work directly with Soil and Water to get their list of preferred contractors, to have those people bid those 2 stormwater basins.
So who is we?
We'll work with,
So you
we will be involved.
guys are doing it?
I'm sure Tim will want to be involved because he helps put the money in the
But
grant
that's part
pots
of
and
your
stuff.
responsibility
So
to do
that's
that.
all taken care of. Soil and Water with whoever we get quotes from it. Part of that requirement is they're gonna have to, in their price for providing the plants, planting the plants, maintaining the plants, they'll have to do that for 2 years, just like we did with the log church. That's a two-year maintenance requirement on there and warranty. And that's why we haven't closed out that project along 66 yet, is because that warranty period expires in September of 2024. So right now, we're actually counting plants out in the log church there and making sure that what we put down is still flourishing. And if it's not, the contractor has to replace them. We actually just made a request for them to go out and check an area on the south side that seems like it's pretty sparse, for them to go back and replant that. So
Okay, but the bottom line is that you coordinate that.
We
and-
will help
And whoever
coordinate
can
it.
ask questions, what's
Right,
this,
we would
that, and the
help
other.
coordinate getting someone here, and, you know, again, what I can't say is if Pat and I stand there in July of next year and she looks at our plantings and she says at the roundabout, boy, these suck. Well, we had our landscape people put out what they thought was very attractive and a nice feature in the center roundabout, which is, again, 3 pine trees, some shrubs, and a lot of grasses. I mean, there, in Andy's and the roundabout, there's over 1,000 one-pound container plants that are going in. So it should be fairly attractive look coming into the city.
In other words, the city council doesn't have to worry about plantings.
Just whether you
Done.
like them or not, I guess.
But there needs to be something in the budget for the future for taking care of
The
the plantings.
maintenance.
That's the thing.
Yes, you'll have to add that. But again, even in the maintenance associated with the log church, Melissa from Soil and Water last year offered the city to go 50-50 on a grant to do continued maintenance. So, I mean, it was like a $3,000 annual cost, $3,000 or $4,000, that they were willing to take up 50% of it.
Would they physically do it too? I mean, do they have an interest?
You hire
in
someone to
doing
do it.
Okay.
But they would offer you 50% of the cost, to hire someone to come in 2 times a year, probably spring and fall, and do, you know, kind of your trimmings, clean it up.
So we acknowledge that we have to be responsible for maintaining it.
Yeah, Tim's gonna put that in all your agreements anyway, I think.
Did,
It's, you will be maintaining. You
Did
probably
they
just
get the
haven't set
grant?
the dollars aside yet.
did they get the grant? Or they applied for the grant for maintenance?
Soil and water.
We did not, because this was still going on. This project ends in September. She was offering it for our 66 project for this year, but we
Oh.
already had a maintenance agreement.
Would they like
So
to
next year,
offer
we
it?
should try and get it.
So next year we get it for this project?
This, and you might want to piggyback and do the log church rain garden, hire someone on to that, because that maintenance agreement that we have with Casper Construction through that contract will be done in September of this year.
So Phil, with the stormwater feature by the chamber and the feature across from the post office, that is a 2-year warranty, and they'll maintain for 2 years?
That's what we believe will write into the contract with whoever we hire through Soil and Water.
But then after those 2 years, then once again, the city will take on the maintenance?
Right.
Okay.
And you could hire it out, or I mentioned to Pat that some communities, like I know Breezy Point has master gardeners, that club might take it on. I don't know if you have that here.
Phil,
Okay.
Phil, is this $3,000 cost per pond or for the whole thing?
Well, that was.
I don't know. I think that, my only reference was the log church. Well, they were gonna actually do maintenance on the log church, the fire hall, and Simonson, so I think it was that area. I mean, they pull weeds, trim, and
But now we're adding how many to it?
2 more.
2 more, so it'd be 5 altogether.
Yeah. I don't know the cost,
So is
Aaron.
it-
It's,
Yeah, it'd be nice to know if it was 15,000 or 3,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A year.
you can look into that.
We'll
John
find that
about
out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. The next thing we wanted to talk about is the live webcam, and we want to thank Tremolo Communications for sponsoring the live webcam. It is mounted on the chamber building right now. And also like to thank Cindy Mugato for the ask for that and the idea for that. And if you go on crosslake.com and you get to crosslake.com and you'll say, where is the live cam? Just scroll down, page down, it's at the bottom, and that's really good marketing, so you have to see what else is going on in Cross Lake, right? So you scroll all the way down to the live cam, and you can see what's happening live right there at that intersection.
And that's in the flagpole on the corner of the Chamber
No,
building?
it's on the Chamber building right now. And we're requesting that that be placed on the flagpole. It's currently on the building. We're requesting that it be placed on the flagpole in the roundabout. Flagpole, correct, Cindy? In the yard. In the yard, sorry, in the yard.
Yeah.
On the flag, so then what would have to happen is Cat 5 would have to be brought in with the electric for that webcam.
So
And
Pat, that's just another line item on our list that we're going to keep track of what we're putting into it.
And that's something that should go to the pre-contractor meeting so that they are aware of the live cam and that the Cat 5 line needs to be pulled in.
Should be mentioned, huh? Yeah. Phil, come on.
You go to
We
those
good with
right
that, Phil?
Yeah, the city has a few things that you're doing outside of Tim's contract.
Right, but we still have to coordinate it.
Right, and
So-
we will be able to coordinate these
Yeah,
things, but
okay. So there's going to be a
it is the
cost?
contractor's site, so it would be really foolish to go in there and do it when they were still coming through doing work.
Right,
And so
but I
that's the
mean-
whole coordination, but we are putting in an irrigation system, the city's doing that separate from the contract. We budgeted a number, it's in your cost share, but the city will decide who's to do it. We've kind of pre-talked to the chamber's irrigation contractor to do that work. The city's gonna run electrical into the center of the roundabout. Okay, we've got the contractor, Tim's contractors, putting sleeves in whatever they build under the road so we can slide pipe or conduit in there. This Cat 5 and electrical or whatever to the flagpole is not in any cost share. I don't think it's very much. But the same coordination that we were kind of be doing with the irrigation, with the conduit, same thing. We just got to
So
let
we
the
realize there's
contractor
going to
know.
be a cost for the wires.
Right, but we just have to do it when it's
yeah.
the right time with the contractor and make sure our contractor, our subcontractor is ready to go with that, so.
I think our idea is to not blindside the contractor
Right.
at the last minute and say, hey, we
Yeah.
asked for this, we
No,
want you to do this.
And these are good points, and it's good you're thinking ahead on this, but, this is like,
Are we a little anal?
yeah, just a little early.
Well
Hey, I li-
stated.
I like
I'm
it.
sorry, this is very important to my business and to all of our businesses, and we can laugh about it, but seriously, I'm going to continue being anal.
I'm with
So,
you, Pat. That's okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
So crosslake.com and tremolo.com, I encourage you to go on there and check out. You can see that intersection live right now, and during the construction, we'll be able to watch what's going on there. The next thing we want to talk about is benches and kiosks. So PAL has some money evidently that possibly could be used for benches, and sites would need to be identified. And our question is, I also have for Josh, if this will show, how do I get this to work, TJ? Okay, can you see that, kind of? That is a picture of a kiosk with a big flower basket in Detroit Lakes. Josh from Upland Advertising has made these before, so he is working up an estimate for what these might cost. And granted, this is probably something that would go in next year, not this year. I wanted to lay this out there, and Josh is coming up with a bid for a one-sided and a two-sided kiosk like this, which we would have a map, maybe one map with all the paths and bike paths and everything around Cross Lake, and maybe the other one, it could be a lot of things, a fundraising effort to pay for the maps by all the businesses who want their star on the map. And then when you're walking, you are here, here's this business here, 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 and you can walk to here and here, and they can take a picture of it. No
Okay, but
paper maps, none of that.
This
That's-
is separate from the construction
Right, I'm just
project.
explaining that that is something that, the reason this maybe needs to go to the pre-construction meeting is it possible to get the slabs laid for the benches, an extended slab to incorporate the kiosk at the time when the sidewalks are being built? Does that make sense? Instead of having to seed that or make it pretty and we're gonna dig it right up again. So would it make sense ahead of time to have those pieces identified of where benches might go, and granted, more could be added in later, but if we even identified 2 spots and had 2 benches and had the cement in there when the sidewalk was being laid, it just seemed to make really good sense to us. So we're asking,
So we will talk about that as time goes on, keep them posted, they'll adjust to it, yeah.
Well, the reason is we don't want to blindside the contractor, and this
No,
would be something that
that's
could
what
go
we'll
to
do.
the pre-construction
You've just
meeting.
told them now, and
Okay.
we will continue to talk about it.
Okay,
I think we need to get Pat a vest and a hard hat.
Well, we need to not scare this contractor off with too much of this
Wait,
stuff.
no, but that's why we need to have this ahead of time, some of this stuff. It's important. Okay, so that's something with TJ, we can talk about identification of benches and locations. That conversation can be had. The existing LED crosswalk indicators that are going to be torn out, we wanted to make sure that those were going to be put to good use, and they are going to relocate those two to Echo Drive and Eagle Pass, and then they're going to purchase a new one for Swan Drive. So those will be reused, and they already have a plan for that. So that's something we had requested. The next thing I have is, and I wanted to show just a picture of one of the benches that Pal has, if you can see this. This is one of the benches at the corner on Swan Drive, just so you can see what they look like. So we would ask that the cement be wider to incorporate the kiosk part of it. And flowers, that might be iffy and down the road. If somebody wants it, we'll see.
Yeah.
See. So the next thing is the power poles at Kicks and 66 and Crafts and Cones. So here we have the overhead lines, and I don't know if any of you have driven by and seen the overhead lines. This is what they look like. They're extremely ugly, and they're going to look even uglier once this beautiful project gets done and going. And if you can see the transformer over here, so we have met, we've gotten a bid from Timber Ridge Electric, and we've also had Crowing Power out, and we've been on many conversations in the last few days. This transformer looks awful. The sidewalk is going up to within inches of that. They will not allow us to paint it. It's against the law for anybody to touch that or do anything to it. They said they wouldn't repaint it, and then they kind of changed that and said, well, I can check into that because this is really ugly. So we need more people to say this is really ugly and to get somebody to do something about this ugly transformer that's going to be right next to the brand-new, beautiful sidewalk.
Did they give you a cost estimate to paint it?
No, that's up to them. They need to do that.
Okay.
I think she's talking about the poles.
Oh, the poles, yeah. So to remove the poles and the guide wires, I've gotten bids separately to move the pole that's on my property by the easement there, over through the parking lot up to the second pole that's next to the transformer. And Linda from Kicks on 66 also has an estimate for hers. Now, she has two buildings and she has two boxes. Crowing Power does not want to have boxes on the buildings anymore. They want them off the buildings, mine is already off the building, so I'd have to have a new pedestal built and all this. Basically, what this boils down to get rid of all these poles and these guide wires and to move Linda's boxes out to the road, is between $13,000 and $15,000. And we're asking if the city would be interested as part of the beautification project to help with that cost. I don't know exactly how this works. The other thing is if the trenching can be done between the North Pole and the South Pole there instead of boring, because that sounded kind of funny, didn't it? When the blacktop is torn out to put the sidewalk in, that's where the new wires would have to go in. So they could be just trenched in, and it would save $1,500 to be able to do that rather than have to bore under the parking lot over to the transformer.
Do you have to have poles if they bury the wires?
No, the poles will be gone.
Okay, yeah.
They take the poles out.
That's
We have
the
to rebuild.
Right.
We have to rebuild with a pedestal the boxes. So Linda has two and I have one, and hers come out. So and this is still a work in progress. I have the bids in writing. It's an estimate, and so that can change. So this is something that we feel would really help enhance this project by getting rid of this mess. We're the only place in town that has these above wires. So we're asking for your assistance with that. And it's not part of the county plan. The South Pole here, This one, the new sidewalk comes within inches of that pole there. So if you can imagine what that'll be like when the new sidewalk comes by, so.
So this is in phase two. We're not, don't have a gun to our head to make the decision right now. Phil, is this something that would fall under your umbrella to coordinate or no? No? So we obviously want to have a firm price. We want to know what we're talking about. I don't know. How do you guys feel about helping them out? It is ugly. There's no question about it. But it is on private property too, so it's a catchy.
Yep,
Well,
I get it.
I could see a little bit.
Yeah, I mean.
A
I
little
would-
bit.
Because, I mean, our whole emphasis has been to, well, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. And I think leaving those there, they're kind of a eyesore, so,
Those old poles are going to come down someday in a storm,
yeah. Well, I know, I was just
and
thinking.
it would be a safety issue at the same time. So I'm in favor of helping. At what level?
Right,
I'm open.
right.
After you get a firm, estimate.
It looks like she's got a pretty good one. Right now, 13 to 15, unless we can do it during construction.
Well, it would be closer to the 13 if we could trench the line in. Otherwise, it's an extra $1,500 to bore that under.
Yeah.
And it would just be a matter of when that is tore up, that'd be the time to put it in.
Yeah.
So that's the coordination that would have to happen with Crowing Power and the contractor.
But I think, again, this is one of the things that needs to be added to the pre-construction meetings. But we can't lose sight of it. And the person that's got their hands on it, Pat,
So I think you've heard from the council that we've
Support.
got an appetite to help you out some way, but I think we've got to look into it.
Okay,
Agree.
Okay?
thank you.
So, thank you, Pat.
Pickleball.
Who's going to give the PAL update? Tom?
We had a disaster today.
You did?
Alden came down with COVID,
Oh, no.
Ah,
so you're stuck with me.
I feel.
right, yeah, what do you have going on?
Can you
TJ's
talk to
gonna-
your T-shirt?
Yeah, TJ Alden wanted to come and do kind of a wrap-up for the Pine River Overlook Park project. It's coming to a conclusion. A date has been set for June 29th at 11 o'clock to have an open house dedication where hopefully the council can be there.
What is that date, Tom? Sorry.
June 29th at 11 o'clock. The park has been seeded, and the grass is coming up. I think the park staff is going to do some overseeding. There's been some washouts with the recent rains, but that is coming up. The epoxy on the pavilion floor hopefully will be completed this week, weather permitting. He's got to have 2 or 3 days of no rain for it to cure. The community really stepped up with many individuals, businesses, and organizations contributing $43,485 toward the project. TJ included $8,000 in his 2024 budget, which paid for the irrigation system. And the city contributed $22,850 from park dedication fees for a total cost of $74,000 to complete a new park, which includes a paved parking lot, handicapped accessible toilet, a paved path from the parking lot to the pavilion, picnic tables in the pavilion and located in the open grassy area, and a unique dock system for launching kayaks, canoes, or inflatable tubes.
Tom, do you have any other pictures up there to show us? Okay.
We thought we'd give you this picture because the grass is coming, but it's not pretty yet. On behalf of the PAL board, Alden and I want to thank the City Council for your support. We couldn't have done this without the use of park dedication funds and TJ's operating budget. TJ and Patrick and their staff for the work they've done on, Patrick did some electrical stuff, and, you know, the guys are doing the seating. And then the many donors which made this project possible and a huge success. I hope, you know, later this month when the grass has really come up, I hope everyone can get down there and see it. It really is a unique, very quiet, peaceful park setting with, you know, I mean, I think we used volunteers, and we were frugal with money and the donations. We were able to refurbish the old garage that was there, turn it into half the building as a storage area, a locked storage area for equipment, and the other half is an open pavilion. TJ, what was that? You looked at what parks usually cost?
Yeah, national average for a brand-new park, we broke it down into a half-acre lot, which this is what it is. It averaged out to $500,000, so I think we can pat ourselves on the back to create a new park for $74,000 that we're gonna be using for 20-plus years.
Nice.
Yep, awesome, yep.
You know, and the well was in there, so we were able to utilize the well for the
You got picnic
irrigation
tables,
system.
right? Yeah.
So, anyway, I think it was a very successful project, and thank you to the City Council and all the donors that made it possible.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you, Tom. Peter, I bet you're chomping at the bit to come. Oh, no?
Whoa, what? What?
Hi.
Surprise. So, my name is Ann Edson, and I was the director of St. Paul Figure Skating Club for over 20 years. And during that time, I'm a director emeritus right now, but I was director for 20 years. And during that time, I hosted and helped organize and collaborated in hosting spring training camps for 38 years. And I worked with different cities, college ice arenas, county ice arenas. And so that's how I'm up here and in this position, or that's my history. Anyway, in retirement, I became a pickleball player, like a lot of people, and found Cross Lake Pickleball Community, and have been a member for 4 years in the summer of Cross Lake. And it is an amazing pickleball community. I mean, it's super positive. Everyone there is motivated, working hard, wanting to help each other. And it's amazing. I don't know if you've gone to many other pickleball communities, but that's kind of not the norm in pickleball communities. So, you know, kudos for Cross Lake. I think one of the reasons why it's super successful is the wonderful leaders like TJ and Pam and Peter. And then they've got great members like Jean. And they all work really hard to improve their own game, but they also reach out to the new members. And it doesn't matter what your skill level is, they are willing to help people and, you know, give them a helping hand and kind of show them the way. So how this idea all got started was Jean came to the US Open down in Florida, and she stayed a few extra days to play pickleball with me and my friends, and she came along to my lesson with Rodrigo. And she had a great time and learned some really good new skills. And when we were driving home, she's like, I want another lesson with him. And I'm like, we don't have time. And then jokingly, I just kind of said, well, maybe we should bring him up to Minnesota to Cross Lake Pickleball. And we kind of laughed. And then a few weeks later, I was thinking to myself, why don't we bring him up to Minnesota? So I talked to Rodrigo to see if he'd be interested. And Rodrigo is a certified, licensed, insured professional pickleball player, or coach. He also just started playing on the professional circuit this past year. And he's also certified in CPR, so he's very well qualified. And So Jean and Rodrigo and I started brainstorming, and we kind of put together these ideas and this schedule. And then when I got back to town, I reached out to TJ and went over these ideas with him. And then I talked to Pam and Peter last week, and if this passes and we go forward with it, I'm gonna have them review the schedule. And between Pam and Peter and Jean, I think we can get the schedule perfect for a pickleball camp in Cross Lake. Because I'm used to organizing figure skating camps, not pickleball camps. So I'm gonna rely on their expertise. So this is the schedule. You see, it would be hosted by the Cross Lake Pickleball Center, and TJ and I have talked about that. And we would have the schedule in the afternoon because the courts are not as busy in the afternoon. In the mornings, they're full, obviously. So in the afternoons, when it's not as busy, and we would only use 1 or 2 courts for the camp.
1 or 2 courts?
1 or 2 courts, depending on the registration. So the registration, you can see, it's 4 to 8 people per session. And a session is 2 hours long, and then it's for 2 days.
And you've got 6 courts down there, TJ, currently?
6, yep.
So 4 people sign up for a session, we'll use 1 court for that 2 hours.
And you're going to use them basically in the afternoon, which
It
is
would
the
be-
slow, normal time.
Yeah, so it'd be between 1 and 5:30. So we would do 1 to 3, and then a half-hour break, and then 3:30 to 5:30.
Okay.
And there would be 2 levels. So we'd have the high level go first. I figure Rodrigo would have more energy for the high-level people. That's how we do it in figure skating, but we can always switch that if they think we should. And then 3:30 to 5:30 would be the lower level beginner people. So if we have 8 people sign up for a session, we would need 2 courts. If only 4 people, we would need 1 court. And if less than 4 people sign up, we would need no courts. And we would just reach out to those people to, they could do a 3-and-me with Rodrigo. They could do a semi-private lesson or a private lesson with him off-site somewhere else. There's plenty of pickleball courts where we could do that. The registration fee is $140, and we tried to keep it as low as possible so that it can be open to as many people as possible. And the registration fee covers Rodrigo's travel costs, the court fees, and his coaching fee. And so the total people that we could have register is between 16 and 32 people for the 4-day camp. If fewer than 4 people, I already said that we will cancel that. If fewer than 16 people sign up for the event, we'll just cancel the event and have the people who did sign up, we'll just organize it off-site somewhere at another pickleball court for, let's say, if only 10 people show up. So the total fee to pay Rodrigo, his sole compensation would be $100 per person. So that way, $20 per person would go for court fee to the city. And the instructor, Rodrigo, will take all the risk for the financial risk because we only pay him $100 per person. So if 16 people sign up, we pay them $100 for each 16 people. If 20, we pay them for 20 people. If 32, we pay them for 32. So the city of Cross Lake is not taking a risk that they're going to have to pay him a certain amount, whether people sign up or not. So all the risk is on the coach. We did it that way so that the city of Cross Lake doesn't need to worry about the financial commitment. So the revenue for the city of Cross Lake would be $20 per person, and between 16 and 32 participants. So if 16 people sign up, the city would get $320 in revenue. And if 32 people sign up, they would get $928 in court fees revenues.
Where's the math on that? 16 people is $320. 32 people, which is twice as many, is 3 times as much money. How does that figure?
Well, that's a good question. So we have $20 built in for the court fee. And then the other $20 is built in for his travel expenses. and we only need 16 people to cover his travel expenses. So above 16 people, we will have an extra $20 for each person that signs up. So I thought we would just give that to the city. So above 16 people, the city gets $40 per person for a
Okay.
court fee.
Good question, Dave.
That makes sense now.
So,
So you're just looking for us to say, sounds like a good idea, knock yourself out.
yes,
And you support it, TJ?
We do, we worked really closely on this proposal, so we're for it.
Does somebody want to, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to allow this pickleball camp to proceed. I talked to TJ, and it seems like it's a win-win for the city, and
Second.
Any other discussion, questions? You're a salesperson.
thanks.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, all in favor.
All right, thank you very much. It'll
Have
be
fun.
really fun.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ian.
A resolution accepting donations. We have got some donations here. An anonymous donation of $6,250 for a promotional video of Cross Lake. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pell Foundation is donating $5,034.99 for the Pine River Overlook. The Haglunds, $5,000 for the police department. And Chip Lohmiller and Farrell Gas, $336.73 for the Women's Firefighter Expo.
How did that go? Good.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept those donations listed.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye? Opposed?
If the video's already been made or it's posted anywhere, does anyone know?
Was that for that?
It's in the works.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Cindy?
Good evening, Cindy Mugato, the Cross Lake Chamber Director and resident at 38397 County Road 3. I'm here to thank you for your donation to the fireworks that we are going to shoot on Saturday, July the 6th. RES Pyrotechnics are doing that. It's the same group that's done it the last several years. The CNC Boatworks is no longer facilitating the hauling of the barges, so we have Outlet Recreation on task for that. So they will use the Robert Street Landing. Thank you, TJ, for helping with that closure for the day. The Robert Street Landing will be closed, so I think you barricaded off. Did we put it in the paper about that, or did we? Okay. We'll visit about that. We'll mark it on social media as well.
Yeah, we'll put it on our Facebook page, the website, and everywhere.
Probably put some signs on a
Everywhere we
week
can.
ahead or something, too.
They barricaded off the Friday night
Like
before.
24 hours before.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have a restroom down there for the pyrotechs to load the barges. Then Outlet Recreation will come back out and haul them out to Sand Island. So I want to thank Kent Carlson for the use of Sand Island. That is actually private property. So we blast the fireworks off from the barges. The pyrotechnic guys, kind of take cover on that island. So we appreciate that. Skeeter 101.5 FM radio station will simulcast the patriotic music to the fireworks display, which is going off at 10:10, 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. It's perfectly dark, and the show lasts about 15 to 18 minutes. The PAL Foundation, thank the PAL Foundation for helping collect all the donations for the show. We pay the pyrotechnics $20,000 for this show. So with your $15,000, we're in the process of raising an additional $5,000. We're just a few dollars short of that goal. So we have the option to make a tax-deductible donation to the PAL Foundation for that cause, or you can submit dollars in any denomination you want through Venmo, through the Cross Lake Chamber, so we have that collection method as well. And then I want to thank Joel Knippel, who's here tonight. He's our barge putter-together guy. So it really is.
Himself exclusively?
Yeah, he does.
What?
If he can railroad some help for that task, but for years and years and years, Joel is the one that has worked to be able to fashion those barges together so that they all work for the show. I believe there's 8 barges. I call them barges, they're really pontoon floats. 8? I think there's 8 of them. They're just pontoons that have been donated for the cause. So Outlet Recreation is the new guy. Have a couple employees that'll haul them out there. They store them all year. So just so you know, it is really a community effort, but we thank you for your funding to make this show happen year after year. I see number 7 is the approval of the application display on the agenda, and I believe that's the permit from the RES Pyrotechnic Group. And there should be an insurance certificate in there listing the city, the county, the Outlet Rec, and some others under that policy.
I'll make,
I'll make a motion to approve the application for display of fireworks to the chamber for July 6th.
Second.
2024.
Okay, any other discussion? Thanks for doing it, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thanks for everybody. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have been in search of an administrator here at the city of Cross Lake for several months. Have not been successful yet, so we're going to discuss here how we're going to move forward. Anybody have some thoughts? Okay, I have a thought, actually.
I thought you might.
Last Friday, we interviewed 2 people. And I would kind of like to take a look at one of them again, maybe calling them back for a second interview. Lori Conway? What do you guys feel about that?
I'd like to hear your interview.
Yeah, right? Did you ever watch it?
I haven't yet. You just gave it to me.
I think especially since, Jackson, you weren't here and neither was Marcia, might behoove us to, interview her again.
Aaron,
What
how
do you think,
feel
Aaron?
about that?
I'm good with it.
They do both have copies of the interviews to watch.
Yeah, I did give them to him.
I just haven't had a chance to.
No, I know, but I mean, so it'd be good.
That's fine.
You can schedule it again.
So do we need a motion to do that?
Well, you're going to call a special meeting, right?
Yes. And I'll move that we interview Lori
Conway.
Conway.
Conway?
Do we have a date?
I'll
Let's,
second that.
Okay, so let's, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor, and I guess I would ask that you would try to do it next week, or this week, at the end of the week, if she's at all possible, Friday maybe. We need 3 days.
You want to contact her?
Because it's work. I can't
Oh,
get
you're
off
going to be
work.
gone.
Call
Right.
Miller.
Could we do a
Next Wednesday?
Zoom?
Yeah, Jerry's gonna be gone.
Do it when you get back.
Okay.
I'll be back on the 26th,
Who else?
In the office on the 26th or like coming back?
coming back to 26th.
Who else could make it on Friday? Aaron, could you make it on Friday? Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
I'll try. I'll try. Call Miller.
You're talking the 14th.
Let's try to do it on Friday if we can.
On the 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. What time?
Whenever,
I think it's when she can be here.
yeah, whenever it's available, probably in the early afternoon, I would maybe guess, but.
Okay, so we have a special meeting called for Friday, the 14th. To be determined the time.
Determined, yeah.
Will someone contact Mike, the recruiter? I mean, we're gonna,
Well, Jerry, Jerry, you'll take care, you'll call Mike and you'll make the arrangements, right?
Actually, I don't know if Mike's going to be around this week,
Okay,
but I will have contact with Tyler and see what.
see what they can do. We could even maybe do it informally, but you are not gonna be here.
I will not be here.
Yeah. I'll
But-
try to sit in your place.
Thank you.
Okay.
but if they can't make it, as long as she can make it, we can handle the same questions.
Yeah, or we can have more of a conversation.
Right.
Bring
Yeah.
some questions with you.
I'm not going to ask her the same questions.
Okay, good. You'll let us know on that. And then I'm gonna say one more thing here, and I don't know if it's any good or not, but we gotta do something with this floor underneath us, so.
How many months have I been complaining, Dave?
Months, years. I think we've been here for 3 years.
It helps to go lower.
Well, Dave, I thought you were going to build something.
I'm gonna bring some old egg cartons in here and I'll just put my feet on that. We can't just raise the floor because we gotta be ADA. You know, we'd have to be 10 feet out with a ramp. So,
So you're just
So what are you gonna do? I'd say, what's your plan here?
I just wanted to mention it. I'm just
Okay.
gonna take care of
Okay.
myself and you do whatever you want.
Sounds good.
I went lower.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, E1,
Mr. Administrator, it's up to you.
First item is the authorization of an execution of memorandum of agreement between City, MIMP, ASME, and the Teamsters declaring Juneteenth as an official holiday. This is more of a housekeeping issue, along with the next item, including Juneteenth as a official holiday in the employee handbook. I think we've had numerous discussions that this is something that we were going to do. It's just getting it made official.
There is no MOA in here for that.
For the handbook, no.
I think he's just telling us. It's not in our packet, no, but.
But we're acknowledging that we're doing it. Make a motion to approve it.
Go ahead.
I can't.
You can make a motion, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve the MOA for the Teamsters, ASME, and MINP for Juneteenth holiday to pay them for that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All in favor? So that covered both of those? Or do we need two motions?
Two
Yeah,
motions.
So make another.
Well, the other one is for something different.
Oh, I move to recognize Juneteenth as a paid holiday in the city of Cross Lake
Yeah.
Employee Handbook.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We did
Opposed?
two.
Motion carries.
Next one is also a housekeeping issue that we've had some discussions with the AFSCME group, with the intent to terminate the existing memorandum of agreement between AFSCME for differential pay for the planning assistant. That memorandum basically stated that it was in effect until there was a new hire as far as the director. The council motion that approved that memorandum, though, there was a difference in the wording. It basically said until the planning director was trained. I think in our discussions with the council, the intent was to terminate that agreement effective June 15th.
Okay.
You're terminating the agreement we did have?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
June 15th.
for the increased pay for the planning department.
So I'm not understanding.
Terminating the $4
terminating.
an hour.
The
Terminating the agreement, just the memorandum of agreement. We're terminating that agreement.
You're going to approve this one that's in the packet, or this is the one that we're terminating? I'm sorry, I'm not
That's the one
following.
you're going to terminate.
Okay. So where's the new one?
We don't have a new one. We are terminating this one.
But aren't we terminating the $4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thing. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we terminate the memorandum of agreement between the city and the ASME Union of Differential Pay.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor. God, we're getting along good tonight.
Next item is a draft proposal for a remote work policy. This basically is a policy that says it's possible to do it with permission from administration and the council. And it can be terminated at any time
When
by
did this come
administration
up?
or council.
When did this come up?
The last
Pardon?
council
Last meeting.
Last meeting?
Well, I thought we decided not to do it.
I actually read this entire thing, Seems like you've covered all the bases. It doesn't seem like it locks us into anything. It's always subject to, you know,
Approval.
yeah, approval and all the terms subject to approval. I think the draft is good, personally.
I'll make a motion that we approve the work remote policy.
I don't even know if they're looking for
Well, thought we were
but
draft, whatever.
We'll vote.
I second it.
All in favor?
So what-
Aye. Motion carries.
The next three items I would refer to Shar.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5 is regarding a new way to count the write-in votes. Did you read it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So in the past, when people vote, you could put a write-in for any office. You could put Mickey Mouse, you could put Donald Duck, you could put Dave Nevin, you could write yourself, anything you wanted. You could circle it and leave it blank. Everything you wrote had to be counted. Even if you just circled the oval and left it blank, we had to count those as blank and tally those at the end of the night. This year is the first year a city is able to change that. If the council chose, we could require a candidate that wished to be counted as a write-in vote, register with the city before the election, or only count those votes if the number of write-in votes is equal to or greater than the fewest number of non-write-in votes for a ballot.
I had a question about that, Char.
Sure.
Because it sounds like you tally them at the end of each day? The end of
No.
each night? Oh, so
The end
just-
of the night,
Just one, there'd just be one night?
yes.
I like
The day
the-
of the
I like the
of
second
the
option.
election.
I like the second option better because it doesn't make any difference unless they equal
Right.
the least number. It just seems like,
So you still could have a successful write-in candidate.
Canada, yeah.
as long as there were more write-ins than,
Is that right? If they outvoted the
Yeah.
other ones.
Correct.
Yeah.
I just think the second option is easier and people don't have to come in early and say they're going to vote for someone else.
Right. For the federal, state, and county elections, they've had it for years now, that those races require you to register ahead of time, and you have to list your name ahead of time if you want your write-in to be counted.
7 days
You
or
do the
something like that?
write-ins here. You count the write-ins here?
We count everything, every name, every blank line.
The write-ins,
Yes.
just the write-ins.
Yep.
So you need a motion to approve number 2 is what you're looking for?
I just,
You have to pick.
I mean.
you
number
don't
2
have to do anything. You can leave it the way it is. These are options.
Does it make your life a little easier?
Absolutely.
But don't we have to choose one or the other?
Yeah.
If you want to move forward, or you can leave it the way it is.
I'll make a motion that we go with option 2, where the votes for the write-in candidate have to outweigh a normal name cast.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Thank you. The next one is approving the renewal for Wind Down Cross Lake. They didn't have their application at the May meeting, so this is just renewing their license.
I move to adopt the renewal of existing liquor license for Wind Down.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the final one is our ordinance limits the number of on-sale licenses and off-sale licenses. Because we have restaurants, not just bars, we do not need to limit the number of on-sale licenses. So we have a potential restaurant owner who would like us to consider either raising that number from 11 to at least 12. And we have a business that would like us to consider raising the off-sale number of licenses. That business owner is Kim from Wine Down. She wants to sell bottles of wine. It wouldn't be a real off-sale liquor store. It would be selling bottles of wine from her business.
That kind of makes sense to me because she only, like, she features like 4 bottles
Yeah.
a month
Correct.
or something. So it's not like she's got a whole stocked.
Mossy Aries also has an off-sale liquor license, and that's what they have it for, is to sell a bottle of wine
Right.
also. But you do have to have an off-sale liquor license in order to do that.
I don't have a problem with that myself.
And we also have the applicant for the restaurant here tonight, as well as their sponsors.
So does this license transfer with sale of the establishment?
You cannot transfer licenses,
So it's given to that individual
correct,
for that use,
Correct.
specific use?
yes.
What's the new restaurant? No, there's another
I-
restaurant.
The restaurant is, well, that's a little bit more tricky because that is not even built yet. So if you approve that, they would want to somehow have you hold it for them
They
until
just
it
don't
is
wanna-
built.
They don't want to build it and then
Right,
not,
and
then
not
be
have a
denied.
license, correct.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And you pay for a liquor license annually?
Right.
Correct.
But we don't have an application.
They do.
Wouldn't they pay for it on completion of, obviously, when the restaurant's built, but we would just then adjust our
You
ordinance
would
then?
hold it. When
approve
Town
it,
Square
we'll raise
first
it
was
from
developed,
Liquor licenses
they had
are
always wanted to have a restaurant at that time, and we did at that time hold a liquor license, I think, for 1 or 2 years, but the restaurant never came. And now there is a restaurant that wants to come to Town Square with a full on-sale liquor license, and now they're asking us to hold one until it is built.
Isn't this saying that the restaurants are excluded from the number, from the
Yes.
license limits? So why do we have to increase it?
Because our ordinance says 11, and we already have 11.
So you want us to raise the ordinance to.
So you can either raise it or,
Raise it or squash somebody's dreams. So we better raise it.
we're at our max. We're at our max.
It's going to be limited to wine.
We're not, no,
That-
off-sale is off-sale. We can't limit to what they sell.
But it
I'm
says-
just telling you, the person who is going to apply for it will be only selling bottles of wine.
Yes, Jerry?
But the Minnesota statutes, it says exclusions from license limits, and restaurants are under that. So why would we have to increase?
Because
11.
we're more restrictive. Our ordinance is more restrictive than state law.
Well, I would like to move that we raise.
I mean, we
Oh,
could
Jerry,
just,
Sorry.
I thought this
Don't-
was
don't-
state law, 11 and 7.
No.
Fourth-class cities are 11 and 7.
no. This is our ordinance.
I think the option to have the ability to issue a license down the line is what you're looking for. I don't think that you can single out somebody and hold a license for somebody that hasn't even applied for it. You don't even know if
Right.
they're qualified yet. The bottom line is you want the ability to react to that license when they apply for it.
Exactly.
I would think if they're going to build a business based upon the liquor license, that they would just get the liquor license.
And that's where the application comes into place, and you don't have an application at this time.
Right.
But they can't get a liquor license.
Because because we're maxed out.
Right.
According to our ordinance.
They need approval from the health department before they can apply for a liquor license. I mean, there's just,
So they're just asking, are we receptive to giving another one out?
correct. I mean, they don't want to build a building for a restaurant
Right.
if we're not going to be receptive to
You want me to explain it to you?
Yes.
Well, I've got it.
I think we need a restaurant here. Can we apply for a liquor license?
Andy Prezek, 12216 County Road 16. Most of everybody in this town knows me as the old owner of the Bourbon Room, which I sold 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Myself, my wife's hospitality company has signed a purchase agreement to buy 2 properties in Town Square that we would like to build a restaurant on. But to invest that money into it, knowing that there's not a liquor license available at this time, assuming there probably won't be in 8 to 12 months upon completion if we do this project, I don't want to put that money into that project, come to you guys and say, now what? I can't get a liquor license. So it's not an issue of can I qualify? Well, I still hold many liquor licenses in my industry, so I understand what you're saying. It's just more of that peace of mind to put the
Yeah,
money into the
right.
project and, know that we're going to get one to finish the project out.
Well, I think you've heard that we support it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So-
Yeah. So hopefully that helped a little bit on that.
And that's true, but you may not be the same people
I
sitting
say
here
it's not the
next year
same
either.
council.
So can I make
True.
a motion that we raise the number from 11 to 12 allowable liquor licenses? And that
And-
we allow off-sale liquor for wind down?
I'll second that, but that means anybody could come in
Yeah,
between,
anybody.
before this applicant and
Yes.
steal it. Then we're raising it to 12 to 13, then 13 to 14.
That's why it was important for us to come and kind of, talk about this before we take that next step, to start submitting our plans for review. and all that stuff.
I don't have a problem with it for a business, okay? But I'd like to see something in hand. I question just holding a license. Somebody comes in and asks for it. I think we're really,
Right.
Correct.
In
Yeah, and for
trouble.
me, financially, it makes no sense to apply for it now because the cost to hold a liquor license with Dram Shop and unemployment, it's a $12,000 a year cost to have a liquor license. It's
yeah.
not just a fee to the city, so,
Yeah.
we thought, do we try to apply for it and just hold it? But it doesn't make sense to do that financially, so,
but I'm in
just
favor
have
of the
the city
business
apply for
coming.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you. So,
Okay, well,
Mr.
We need to
Mayor?
let it die.
yeah, we'll let that one die.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Good luck. Thank you. So can I,
We need to vote on that and just let it die.
okay,
Okay, all in favor?
Was there a second?
no,
I seconded it so that I could tell.
okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Dies. All in favor, it died.
Died.
It's dead.
Okay, can I make a motion that we allow an off-sale liquor license for Kim Walters at Wind Down?
You can raise it, but you can't say it. She hasn't
Raise.
applied for it, so.
Yeah, just, we shouldn't do anything until.
Well, why do
they
we,
come
why
in.
is there a council action motion requested?
Just to raise it. so
Just
then
to
she can
raise the
apply.
limit.
Oh, okay.
She can apply for it. She was supposed to be here tonight, so.
Huh?
I don't know.
So raise it to 8 rather than 7?
Just, we don't do anything. She's not
I
here.
was say, why don't we just wait till she comes next time?
I'm trying to help her out, but,
She's got to help herself. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay, public safety, Jake, are you gonna, no?
Let's read.
Oh, okay. I got enough.
Mayor and council, thanks for letting me speak. Reed Nelson, 11905 County Road 16, Cross Lake. I'm a captain with the fire department and been with the department, it'll be 6 years in September, and am serving as the treasurer currently. And what I'm here tonight to talk about, just to give you information, is we're strongly considering making a change on our Relief Association retirement for the fire department. We're just considering switching from our current plan to the statewide volunteer plan, which is administered by PARA. And I'll just kind of lay out what our current plan has here. It's administered by the Relief Association, and there's a private wealth management firm that invests our money that we have year to year. And the retirement fund is made up of a combination of contributions from the city of Cross Lake and then annual state aid. We do not put any of our fundraising proceeds for the Relief Association to our retirement. So when we send that letter out, which I want to thank everybody for being so gracious with their support for our department, none of the funds from that letter or our pancake breakfast or our pig roast go to our retirement. Our retirement just comes from the city of Cross Lake again and the state aid. The fundraising money that we raise goes towards equipment purchases, so building maintenance and gear. So our current plan is a defined contribution. There's two types, defined contribution and defined benefit. Defined contribution is, an easy way to explain it is everybody gets a piece of the pie. Members' portion of the fund is dependent on their years of service. So Brian Schuss has been on our department for over 30 years. He has the largest chunk of the pie. Somebody that just joined last year, smallest chunk of the pie. So the funds invested into the market and the balance of the funds fluctuate throughout the year based on the performance of our investments. So if the stock market does very well, or that fund balance goes up, everybody's piece of the pie gets allocated out for their years of service. On the years that the market doesn't do so well, the balance goes down. Members get adversely affected. Vesting is 20 years of service. You get your full payout at completion of 20 years of service. And vesting begins at 10 years or 60%. So somebody like me, if I was to walk away right now, my money would go back into the pool. I wouldn't see anything of it. Somebody that was on 12 years would just get a portion of the payment. I'll also point out that Chief Flo Miller now is no longer a part of the Relief Association since he's a full-time employee for the city. So he did separate from the Relief Association as of the first of the year this year. Drawbacks to our current plan is, the big one is annual audit. And I know you guys just had your annual audit here for the city, or you're in the process of doing it. The cost of that is $8,500 to have an audit performed by an independent CPA firm. The CPA firm has to be approved by the state of Minnesota. There's getting to be less and less of them. The private wealth management service fees we get, I think they charge us about 1.5% for management fees on top of what we're paying for the audit. The audit materials are gathered by the relief treasurer, me, which is very time consuming. I have spent a lot of time tracking down information, sending it over to our CPA, going back and forth between our CPA and our wealth management firm and then the state auditor's office. Mind you, I don't do this for a full-time job. I'm a manager at Riverwood Bank, and I'm also on the fire department going to calls. So, and then we've just experienced some real poor customer service. We've had mistakes on payouts, miscalculated by the CPA firms. Again, there's limited firms statewide, so their mindset is, well, where else are you going to go? Which I don't think is right. And we're just not a priority for them. We call and say, you know, where's our audit? It needs to be done in order to get state aid. And, you know, we kind of get pushed off, especially during tax season, because CPAs are focused on, you know, preparing tax returns for their clients. So we just kind of get pushed down the road. And then retirement payout challenges. When a member retires, a new DC table needs to be created. Again, everybody gets a piece of the pie based on the balance in that entire fund. So in order to pay somebody out when they retire, we need to have that DC table calculated, which is done by the CPA. They charge us money to do that. And again, it's very time consuming to do that. They need to coordinate between myself and the wealth management company. So when a member retires, it usually takes them a while to get information or to get their payout. And the paying out of a member involves myself, the fire chief, the wealth management representative, and a CPA. Which brings me down, I'll just give you a little bit of information on the statewide volunteer plan. SVF is less of a mouthful. It was created, the Minnesota legislature created it in 2009. Its pension assets and liabilities of each department are maintained and accounted for separately from other departments who participate in the SVF plan. So each department has their own separate fund, just like we do now, except it's all administered by the SVF plan. The State Board of Investments oversees our investments on it. Para Board of Trustees and Executive Director administer the plan. The Para Board of Trustees receives advice and guidance from the SVF Advisory Board, which consists of Minnesota cities and townships, fire chiefs, and volunteer representatives across the state. It's got about a 6% rate of return over the last year's 50% stock, 45% bonds, and 5% cash. And that's actually very comparative to our current provider we have right now. And then it is available to define contributions. This is the first year that it is available to define contributions. Defined benefit is the other one, and that is a set level per firefighter per year of service. So just some of the benefits to go in with the SVF plan is the relief no longer administers the retirement plan, so the Relief Association can continue to existing with the sole purpose of fundraising for the purchases of new gear, maintenance, taking stuff off of the city council budget for the year, or the city budget for the year. Financial incentive, there's a large financial incentive to join. There's $10,000 they're going to award on a first come, first served basis. And then, in addition to that 10,000, we'd get $1,000 per active firefighter. And so that would be paid to the plan again, once we join. And less fees, it's $60 per firefighter per year and 6 cents per 1,000 invested, with no audit fees. The audit's performed again by the SVF. Relief's no longer responsible for gathering audit materials. The fire chief will provide annual certification for firefighters in good standing. Annual reporting, they'll actually give you guys an annual report of what the account looks like, and as well as the chief. And retirement payouts, when somebody, it is time for them to retire, they deal with the SVF instead of coming to me and having me call the CPA and wealth management advisor. So as far as the timeline goes, July 15th is a deadline to request a cost analysis. We submitted ours in April. November 15th would be the deadline to submit a resolution to join the SVF plan, and we do need approval from the council, as well as our firefighter membership. And then January 15th, if we got approval from both you and our membership, and we chose to move forward, we would begin the plan administered by SVF as the first of next year. So current plan, we'd wire our funds from that account to the new one, so.
So Reed, you're not asking for any more money or anything, you're just
I'm
asking
not.
to take your money
Yeah,
and invest it how you want to.
Correct, yeah, we're, I probably got a little long-winded, so I'm sorry, but, yeah, we're just looking for your blessing on that. We'll need approval from you guys as well as our
So
membership.
is the January 1st, the first you can go into the plan?
Yeah, that's correct, so that'd be the earliest we'd be able to.
Okay, so when have you already requested the cost benefit analysis?
Yes, they're working on it. They sent me an email a couple of weeks back that they said that we're in the queue, and they had a question for us if we were gonna change to a defined benefit, and I said, no, we're staying as a defined contribution at this point, so.
I think the city council should see the cost benefit analysis before they move forward. I mean,
Yep.
we need that information before we move forward.
Did you have a
So-
deadline by the 15th of July to get it in? Did I hear you say?
And I submitted it in April.
Okay, so that if we wait and see what she wants to see, it's not gonna hold anything up.
No, we would need an approval from both you and membership by November 15th.
Oh, okay.
So I'm simply getting this in front of you so you're aware of it, not blindsided, and to kind of.
What, did you submit a benefit, your service benefit to them?
We kept it
Cost
the same that it is right now. So, we submitted basically what we get, annually from the city, and then, we submitted.
But before, this won't be a defined contribution, this is gonna be a defined benefit.
No, it will be a defined contribution.
So it'll be years of service, a benefit.
Correct.
Each year of service, there will be a benefit of so much.
No, that is the
There's not?
defined benefit. This is the defined contribution. So defined contribution, it's whoever's been there, I mean, Chief, if you were there for 30 years, you got a larger portion of it than somebody that was there 20 years. So there is no set benefit level. And the defined benefit is you get maybe $2,000 a year per year of service would be like a defined.
That's what you're
benefit.
going
So
into,
We're
is
going
the
into
defined benefit.
We're going into defined contribution.
No, we are contribution right now. We're going to get accepted by the state under contribution. At some point in time, the
We may
relief
come
may
in,
move
yeah.
to a defined contribution.
Oh, I thought that was the whole idea behind this.
No, we're just trying to switch to get a more simple way of having somebody administer it, so.
After the analysis, we'll find out where we're at and.
Yeah, and we can ask to have them do a comparison at,
Yes.
at some point down the road, but we would like to get into their plan at, like, we felt that doing all of that at one point in time was a lot to tackle. and then
Yeah.
we'd miss out on the money.
I'd like to see a comparison.
Is it still gonna work the same way where like people have more years and then another person, they're gonna receive a bigger chunk? Okay.
Correct, yep.
It's the same way as it is now. The
That's
only
what
thing
I-
that's different
I-
is that accountant would, we don't have to get an accountant to do the audit. The state does it and it saves us money.
Yep.
Perfect. That's-
Ideal
Thank
Fire
you.
actually just switched to it.
Sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, Ideal Fire just switched to it last year and they've been real happy with it. They are a defined benefit, so it's a little different for them.
Good for you.
Sweet.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Paul, let's see how you do.
All right, well, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Got a couple of items on the agenda for tonight. First is the preliminary and final plat of River Trail Road, being presented by Mike Cunningham, and his authorized agent KLD is here tonight. This preliminary and final plat is subdividing 38.9 acres into 12 individual tracts in both the Shoreland District and the Rural Residential 5 zoning district. The front 8 lots that are adjacent to the river are in the Shoreland District, and then the back is Rural Residential 5. It kind of cuts right through the plat, and so those back 5 lots are 5-acre tracts, and then the ones along the river are in the Shoreland District, so they're smaller. The developer is working with the city engineer and is planning to dedicate the road to the city. This construction of a turn lane and bypass lane are required by the county and will be a part of the project as well. So attached in your packet is the proposed preliminary and final plat, which has been brought to our planning commission on May 22nd or May 24th and was unanimously recommended to be brought to the city council for approval. Only recommended conditions are to have a written document from the city engineer that all road and stormwater management engineered plans meet his approval, which has been done. And the other would be for the developer to sign a developer's agreement with the city in conjunction with the final plat approval. The development agreement has been written up and would just be signed with your approval there. And then, so what we are looking for tonight is an action request to approve the preliminary plat as recommended by the Planning Commission, and then also an action request for the approval of the final plat.
I only had one question about item 9, that the city would be responsible for maintenance of the South Basin. Is that typical?
Yeah, yes, I mean, when you dedicate a road, I mean, all the calculations are done for civils and so all that should be up front, and then, you know, come with the road comes the responsibility of the ditches too. County, you know, county would be responsible for that bypass lane, the turn lane. So that's all part of the dedication to the city and the county.
Park dedication fees?
Yes.
This didn't make it to our park commission meeting, but I did talk to Peter before the meeting. We looked at the plat. We considered our park master plan, and this would not fit in with our master plan to take land, so we would accept cash in lieu of land.
Okay.
We don't want to start a new park, we just finished one.
I'll make a motion that we pass the preliminary plat.
I second that.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
And I think you have to collect the fees before any permits can be issued. Okay.
That was just for the preliminary?
Yeah, because we need 2, right? For a final as well? Yep. I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat.
I'll second that one too.
We don't need any description, it's all the same, everything good? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
What's the name of the street?
It's meant to be the approval of the, according to ordinance 390. Approval of naming an unnamed, the unnamed road as River Trail Road, and adding a road name to the master road name index, and the approval to publish the ordinance summary in the official newspaper.
I'll make that motion that we approve that road to be called River Trail Road, and then that we post it in the paper as well.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All in favor.
And then lastly on my agenda, I just wanted to just give a brief update. As you all know, a moratorium has been put on accessory structures. We all attended a workshop a few weeks ago. Since then, the Planning Commission, myself, and staff has had a second workshop, so I just wanted to give you a brief update. As a reminder, to those in the audience and for you guys, the reason for the stop and the permitting of these structures was because we've been misinterpreting our zoning ordinance for the last number of years, and on the definition of accessory structures and the use of storage in the commercial district. So we've had one shared workshop among 5 of you, Planning Commission, City Attorney, and since then we've had one more. Consensus being, we want to protect our main corridors. It seems to be the general viewpoint of the public, city staff, as we come into, we only got so much space and we only have a couple of roads coming into the city of Cross Lake. We want to do what we can to protect those main corridors. So as a Planning Commission, we've identified those main corridors. Obviously, County Road 3 coming in, County Road 66, County Road 16, and County Road 36. If we look down the road for future development, County Road 3 heading to Emily, County Road 36 might be an area for expansion for commercial, but we also want to maintain those corridors if those become, more, if they become more development on it. So, that's one of our consensus. So the next objectives, we really need to, and we do have a meeting upcoming this Wednesday, but we need to narrow in on defining the use in those spaces along the corridor, and we need to put parameters on exactly where that corridor is, whether it be setbacks off the road. We've talked about making the corridor an overlay district, similar to how the Shoreland District overlays essentially an R2 or in conjunction with. So a corridor district would be its own zone, like our downtown has its own ordinances. So we could do a overlay of a corridor district or whatever we decide to call it. And within that overlay district, we could potentially have our own zoning ordinances. So narrowing in on defining the use, then defining the parameters of that use, and then after we discuss that, we can go into architectural standards. How do we permit those, and how to incorporate these in both the comprehensive plan along with any changes to our current ordinance. So that's essentially what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday moving forward, and hopefully we can get a timeline built out, because obviously, nobody wants to keep this moratorium on forever. Now that we've had a lot of good discussion, we can start to look, at timelines and how to achieve what we want. But, for the first couple workshops, we really just needed to get the big picture, get ideas, and then we can start to narrow it down. So quick update on that. No decisions tonight, but.
Cool.
Sounds good, Paul.
Starting to see some consensus coming together?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Through a little bit of pain, but we're getting there.
Good.
Pain is good.
Yes.
Okay, TJ?
Yeah, just real quick, I want to share some current rec numbers where we're at, and we continue to grow as we see the numbers increase in town. Our Fun in the Park youth program, we're at 15, just started today. We're going to expect to see that increase as the summer goes on. Pickleball, we're at 220. Colt baseball, we're at 9. T-ball, 9. Adult tennis, we're at 17, which is the most we've had since I've been here. And youth tennis, we're at 13. And just recently, we've heard back from a couple individuals who are potentially willing to work with us to start swimming lessons in the summer, and then an intro to gymnastics program for the young kiddos. So fun things on the horizon.
Sweet.
That's all I got.
Where would you do the swimming?
In the lake.
Swimming, we would probably work with a local hotel to see if we can
Gotcha.
work out some times with them, but it's a work in progress.
Envision building a swimming pool.
They used to do it down at the campground.
I think they still do it at the campground, where it's just another option for the families.
Throw them in the lake.
Learned at the lake.
TJ, did you want to move forward with the park dedication
For the,
plat that was just done?
Yes, does that need a separate motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that Parks and Rec receive, I'm having a blank here, senior moment. Park dedication fees.
In lieu of
In lieu
land.
land, thank you.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, all in favor. Patrick?
All right, the Public Works met last week, and one of the topics was trail maintenance be included in our future road improvements, like seal coating and that, so we start taking care of them trails. We have never done any of that yet. The other thing is solicit quotes from Melinda Shores Bridge. We gotta do that, and we'll probably have to use Phil a little bit for some help on that so we can get it done properly. Or, give us our stuff we need.
So Pat, going back to the trails, you're just trying to budget money and set it aside for maintenance on it?
For maintenance, yes, in the upcoming year, so it'd be for next year, so we have some money budgeted to start taking care of it.
Not for putting new trails in, but just to maintain?
This is just for the maintenance end of it, because we have nothing in the budget right now for maintenance.
And are you gonna come to the budget workshops and come up with a number or
We'll come up with a
something
number,
for
I'll
that?
have some figures on what it takes per mile or whatever to seal
Okay.
coat the trails.
We'll have to know which ones need it.
There'll have to be a schedule or something, huh?
Yep, we'll get a schedule on that for you. And you want them to vote on every one of them, or sure?
Who's bidding the Melinda Shores Bridge thing?
Yeah, I don't know if the council knows so we put together plans for Melinda Shores Bridge. The abutment's failing. And so we put those plans together. The city budgeted for that repair. I don't know, what was the dollar value? $125,000 to take care of the abutments on those bridges. We have a plan done. It provides two options. The Public Works Commission wants to get a quote for both options to see the costs associated with each. So,
And then if we go with the more expensive one, you get, 70 years?
Right, one of them is more expensive, but it's made of concrete block. So no maintenance, longer lifespan. Another one is gonna be a steel post with green treated wood slats to hold back. So less costly, more maintenance, less life. You probably have to replace it after 20 years again. So that's what you're gonna weigh, but Public Works would like to get quotes for both. So try and get 2 or 3 contractors to give quotes for both options so that you have something to consider when you make a decision going forward.
Is that repair trying to be done this year?
Yes.
Will we have it by July meeting?
That would be the goal. We would need to, we were hired to put the plan together but not do anything else. So I think that's what Pat's saying is maybe it's under $175,000. We don't have to go through a formal public bid process. We can just reach out to contractors and get quotes.
I'll make a motion that Phil should get solicit quotes for the Melinda Shores Bridge repairs.
We'll bring them back for July.
July, yes. That's your deadline, the July.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next one that we discussed, because we actually did a walkthrough down to the waste treatment plant and the joint facility with everyone. They'd like to see a feasibility report for the treatment plant and disposal of biosolids for the waste treatment plant. We're thinking about doing a drying bed, or there's a couple other things out there. We'd have to work with Phil to get a feasibility study on that. And this is something that's coming up. It isn't something that we have to have today, but it's something we have to start moving forward on, because eventually Pine River will not be taking our stuff.
So are you
When
gonna
is, we don't have a date on that, you know.
Are you gonna ask Phil to give us some proposals or something? on what
Yes,
we're looking at?
we'll have Phil
So
get
you're
us
not
some.
looking to move forward today, but?
No, just
yeah.
get us some, costs on what it'll take for that.
Okay, good.
Motion consensus.
I think you have to have a motion that too.
You know,
Right, Char?
If you want them to do a feasibility report, then yes, you would.
I'll make a motion that Phil does a feasibility report for the treatment and disposal of biosolids and waste.
How much? How much?
I just want to make sure you're okay with us giving you a proposal.
Proposal
Yes.
for the report?
Because
Yes.
if you weren't interested in that, I wouldn't waste my time. doing it.
Right. I'll make a motion that Phil give us a proposal for a feasibility study.
Perfect.
That's better, second.
Aye.
All right, number 4 thing on the list was I have a safety inspection of the Public Works facility and develop a operating procedure manual for the waste treatment plant, which includes operation and maintenance of the interior and exterior. That is just something the safety thing will have MMUA do. That won't cost us anything. They'll just do that. Then we have to get, the rest of it I have to work on to get done. And then the last one is the in-control proposal, which we talked about last month. We talked to in-control and I talked to Extona. They're 2 separate things that they're doing down there. Because, we were concerned they're gonna cross over and one was covering the other. They're 2 separate things.
What is Extona doing for security down there then?
They're just doing the internet stuff and compute, that stuff. This other one is all for the process of the plant.
And Pat, you seem, I talked to Jerry, it seems like you think this is pretty important that we get
Yes,
this done
it's, yeah, we need to have a better system down there for the security because they are actually targeting the smaller cities and the smaller plants.
Okay.
Because they're easy targets.
Well, I think it needs to be done.
Crap.
I say, don't want anybody backing us up.
So that's not cameras or
No, the
security.
cameras are, some of them are up and running. I haven't had time to get all of them up and running. That we can do ourselves. This is actually just the computerization of the whole plant all the way through. They go through it all, check it all, because that, the stuff that runs the plant actually calls out to us.
Okay.
And then we can access it to do stuff if we can to get in there. So it's all, it really needs it. It does. I know it's expensive, but it's something we need.
Is there a motion on it yet?
Go ahead.
Okay. I move we approve the proposal as presented. Total price of $7,731.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I know you guys are hanging around for something, so we'll have the last and final public forum. All right, Cindy.
Just because you brought it up and I couldn't let it go, this Whitefish Chain Yacht Club organizes the swimming lessons. They hold them for 3 weeks in July, and they have 3 different sessions each week, beginners, intermediate, and advanced. The beginner and the immediate sold out in 35 minutes of those classes being offered online. They hold them in the campground. In the northern part of the campground, there was a dock installed 4 years ago, courtesy of the Whitefish Chain Yacht Club and the Cross Lake Greater Area Foundation. So that is where the swimming lessons happen. And
Cool.
there are many, many, many disappointed families that they couldn't get into those lessons. So if you want to embark on that, it would be a great deal. And the lake is unique.
As I say, that's special. Doing it
Vicki
in the
Leonard
lake.
is the instructor, and she's been doing that for over 40 years.
Who is it?
Vicki Leonard.
Yeah, I couldn't.
She owns Pinedale Resort. She taught my kids swimming lessons there.
Yeah.
So now you know.
Thank you.
So, but Cindy, you said she's sold out, so no, there's not room for anybody else?
No.
In 35 minutes, the beginner and the intermediate classes sold out. There was still some room in the advanced. I don't know if that's sold out yet or not. But yeah, 35 minutes in
I'll do it for fun.
the beginner classes are for the little kids that just
Right.
need to
Yeah.
learn to
Could they get another instructor, or?
We have two instructors, and we are looking at adding some more classes since this did happen. This is the first time this has happened.
You could do it, Linda.
It's a good sign, it's a
Bill.
good sign though, that, it's a good
Bill
sign.
starts laughing.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right, anybody else? Oh, you got something? Go ahead.
I did duck out and I did contact Lori about a second interview. She's excited about a second interview, but this week will not work.
Okay.
So I told her that it would probably be the week of the 24th.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
The week of the
They're gonna
24th, and you'll let
change
us
that.
know. When are you back?
The week of the 24th. I was more worried about the mayor being present than me.
Okay, nobody else for public forum? We'll close public forum. City attorney's not here. Is he here on his line or anything?
Nope.
New business?
I got two things, Mayor, if I could.
Okay.
The first one is me and TJ. We're talking here, today it actually come up. He had somebody that he could have work part-time for the summer. Was he, what'd you say, he was a junior or?
I believe a freshman in college.
So we were hoping that possibly we could hire him on, if he gave us the permission to do it, to alleviate a lot of mowing and issues that we have going on right now. It would really help out for the summer.
Didn't we hire a maintenance person?
We hired one that's 50/50,
Between
yes.
public and park and rec?
Yes.
We did that last year, so that would help you out with the mowing.
Right, and this year we have some issues that it would really be nice if we could put him on more to help TJ some, but mainly me more than anything right now, because we're just not getting enough done.
You have funds in your budget?
That'd be up to Jerry. This came up really, really quick.
What is this, a 3-month deal or something? Or
Yeah.
2 months now?
Yep,
For $18 an hour or
Yeah.
whatever?
yep.
Do it. Full-time?
Yeah, it'd be 40 hour. Well, we can set it up however you guys want. I'm looking for any help right now I can get.
Okay, well, I think you do probably need some help, so I would support you doing what you gotta
Okay.
do.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the second thing is Zach Knobloch, we hired from the county.
Yeah.
He's coming up for his 6-month deal. I highly recommend that we take him on full-time and give him a step pay.
And you're good with all of it?
Yes, very good. He's a very good employee.
I'll make a motion that we take him off probation, give him a step
I'll second
increase.
it. Whoops, I'm sorry.
Woo, running me over.
No, I guess.
Was that a second, Marcia? or-
That was. I kind of held back because I didn't realize he wasn't done.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Gal, everyone has been all in favor, huh?
That's all I had.
Is that it?
Counseling sessions must be working.
For who? You? Are they for you?
You have it?
Are we good?
Okay, any old business?
I have something.
All right.
Unfortunately, the attorney isn't present, but wondering if he's ever going to get that paperwork for the right-of-way that we're supposed to be fixing there on the Whitefish Avenue. I mean, that's been since last fall. We told him we were going to take care of it. Nothing.
It's on
Right.
the list.
So I think we need to contact the attorney tomorrow and tell him now would be a good time.
I'll get on the phone tomorrow.
Yeah, because the spring rain, I mean, I bet you the water's been running over that. And then so you're going to,
Contact the attorney on that. Can you have them get going on an easement for the cemetery also?
It's on the list.
yeah, that too. So then I have one other question. The reason I was so confused about that MOU or that memorandum of understanding terminating it, I thought we had already done that. We did that as of May 31st
No.
at a special meeting,
We agreed to do it till
May 31st.
June 15th.
June 15th.
At that time, we agreed.
It was
June
May
15th.
31st at that time.
I know that we extended it to June 15th because we felt like that.
Do you have anything else?
No,
Motion to adjourn.
It is yours.
I say motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.